You ever feel like you're playing by a rule book you never even got to read? Or maybe you've got this little voice in your head, a critic that just never shuts up? Well, you're not alone. Today we're going to break down an incredible book, Don Miguel Ruiz's The Four Agreements, and see if we can find a real, practical path to personal freedom. Let's get right into it.
And this John Lennon quote, man, it just hits the nail on the head. Living is easy with eyes closed. It's this idea that maybe, just maybe, the reality we see is, well, a misunderstanding. It's like we're all part of this big, collective dream that we're taught to believe in without ever really asking why.
So where does all this misunderstanding come from? Well, this is where Ruiz introduces a huge concept he calls the dream of the planet. Think about it. From the second we're born, we're essentially dropped into a world that's already running on a pre-written script.
And this dream, it's everything. It's the collective soup of society's rules, beliefs, laws, cultures, the whole shebang. It's this pre-packaged reality that tells us how to act, what's right, what's wrong, what to believe in. And it does all this long before we ever get a chance to choose for ourselves.
Ruiz has a pretty striking name for how we learn all these rules. He calls it the domestication of humans. And yeah, that sounds intense, but think about it. It's not so different from how we train a pet, right? Society teaches us how to be good using this basic system of reward and punishment.
So the reward is getting attention from mom and dad, from our teachers, getting that acceptance. And the punishment? It's rejection. So to avoid that pain and get the reward, what do? We start pretending. We learn to be someone we're not just to make everyone else happy. And right there, that's where this deep-seated fear of not being good enough is born. And we kind of lose track of who we really are underneath it all.
And all these rules we've learned, all these beliefs we've accepted, they get stored away. Ruiz calls it our personal book of law. This thing is basically our internal judge, jury, and executioner. It's this massive rule book inside our minds that's filled with every single agreement we've made, and it ends up running the show. It becomes our unquestioned truth.
But here's the thing about this book of law. It's not just some dusty old book on a shelf in our minds. Oh no. It actively creates these two powerful characters that live inside us, the judge and the victim. And this is where that inner battle really begins. You've got the judge whose only job is to enforce that book of law. It's constantly looking at everything you do, finding you guilty, and doling out punishment. And then you have the victim. That's the part of us that just takes it all, absorbing the judgment, carrying the blame, the shame, and always feeling like, yep, I'm just not good enough.
And this cycle, wow, it is absolutely relentless. Ruiz makes this incredible point. Humans are the only animal on the planet that will pay 1,000 times for the same mistake. Think about it. You mess up once, and the judge makes you pay. Then you remember it a week later, and wham, the judge makes you pay all over again, and again, and again.
So, what's the result of all this? This constant internal tyranny of self-judgment, completely run by fear. Well, Ruiz calls it our personal dream of hell. It's a state of suffering that we build for ourselves, not because of what's happening out there, but because of what we believe in here.
Okay, but it's not all doom and gloom. Here's the most important part. If we made these agreements that created this dream, then that means we have the power to make new agreements to change it. And that brings us to the heart of it all, the 4 new agreements. These are the keys to our freedom. These 4 simple but powerful agreements are designed to help us break all those old fear-based rules and take back our personal power. Seriously, these aren't just nice ideas. They're a roadmap for changing your life. So let's jump into the very first one, which is arguably the most important of them all.
All right, the first agreement, be impeccable with your word. Now that word, impeccable, might sound a little fancy, but its origin is super interesting. It comes from Latin, and it literally means without sin.
Okay, but what does sin even mean here? Well, Ruiz keeps it simple. A sin is just anything that you do which goes against yourself. That's it. So being impeccable with your word really just means you stop using your own words against yourself. No more self-judgment, no more self-blame.
Your word is pure magic. It has the power to create. It's the most powerful tool you have. When you use it for good, to lift people up, to tell the truth, that's white magic. But when it's used to spread lies, fear, poison, that is black magic. And a lot of the time, we're using that black magic on ourselves.
And what's the most common form of this black magic in our daily lives? Gossip. Ruiz has this perfect modern analogy for it. He calls gossip a computer virus for the human mind. Think about it.
It gets in, infects your thinking, and spreads emotional poison, completely messing up how you see yourself and everyone around you. Okay, next up, don't take anything personally. This one is a total game changer. It's like putting up an invisible shield. Once you truly get that nothing other people do is because of you, it's always about them and their dream, you become immune to so much negativity. Their words just can't hurt you anymore. Then there's number 3, don't make assumptions. Oh man, this one could save us all so much trouble. We spend so much time making up stories in our heads about why people do things. This agreement says, stop. Just find the courage to ask questions and get clear. It's the key to avoiding so much misunderstanding and suffering. And finally, the 4th agreement, always do your best, is what makes the other 3 stick. And here's the trick. Your best is going to change from day to day. Some days you're sick, some days you're on fire. But if you just commit to doing your best in any given moment, the inner judge has nothing to attack you with. It's about effort, not perfection.
So what's the big payoff? What actually happens when you start living by these 4 new rules? Well, simply put, you start building a whole new dream for yourself, a new reality.
Just think about how much energy it takes to live with all those old, fear-based rules. All that energy you spend judging yourself, feeling like a victim, it's exhausting. When you start breaking those old agreements, all of that wasted energy comes flooding back to you. And now you can use it to create the life you actually want.
And that's really the ultimate promise here. This isn't about some far-off reward. It's about realizing you have the power right here, right now, to transform your own personal dream of hell into your own personal heaven on earth, a life that's actually filled with joy and freedom and love.
So, that leaves just one last question, and it's a big one. If your world is built on agreements and you now have the tools to make new ones, what new dream are you going to create?